Assalamu alaikum. Today we want to talk about chapter 8 of the book, and this chapter we talk about cryptography as one of the main security tools, and when we are talking in information systems. We know that we can use cryptography methods applying on plain text to encrypt them. To do this, we have two different types of cryptography methods. One of them is bitstream methods, the other is block cipher methods. But the question is this: what is the difference between a bitstream cipher method and and a block cipher method? When we are talking about bit streaming means that I am sending information, sending data, sending raw data as a stream into the cipher method. Those data is continuous. It's continuous. It's transferred one bit by one bit per time, per one after the other. But when we are talking about block cipher methods, it means that firstly, I should divide my data into some blocks with specific length. For example, 8-bit blocks, 16-bit blocks, or 53, 64-bit block, or something like that. A predefined block size. I should divide my data into predefined block size, and then those blocks are passed into the cipher method. So my data is encrypted block by block. In bitstream, I'm presenting a continuous cipher streaming. But here in block cipher, no. I have some blocks. Those blocks should be encrypted separately. Okay. We know that the crypto systems or crypto algorithms, crypto systems are made up of algorithms, some algorithms. Those algorithms try to handle the raw data, to encrypt them, and at the other side, they try to decrypt the data. So they have so those algorithms have some procedures for encryption and decryptions. The simplest form of a cipher is substitution cipher. In substitution cipher, we have a list of characters, of words, and each character would be substituted, would be replaced with another character, with another value. For example, if we use monoalphabetic substitution, each alphabet character is replaced with another alphabet character. However, as a sophisticated case, we can use polyalphabetic substitution. The difference between monoalphabetic and polyalphabetic substitution is that in monoalphabetic substitution, I'm using only one pattern for replacing one character with another character. But in polyalphabetic substitution, I'm using a more advanced substitution. In this case, in polyalphabetic, I have, for example, 3 or 4 or more than one pattern for replacing. It means that I can at time t, for example, I'm using one substitution pattern. At time t plus 1, I'm using another alphabetic substitution pattern. At time t plus 2, I'm using another substitution, and so on. So I have more than one pattern, more than one alphabetic pattern for replacement. It's make make it's make my substitute my cryptography method uh, stronger than monoalphabetic substitution. It's more stronger than the monoalphabetic. Uh, Algorithm. We have a special case of polyalphabetic substitution. We called it a Y-generic cipher. But what is Y-generic cipher? In Y-generic cipher, for example, in uh, English alphabetics, alphabetic, we have 26 character, 26 alphabets. In binary, we have 26 substitution pattern. Let me look at this one here. The first row is the common alphabetics in English. And after that, from row 1 to row 26, you can see we have 26 different substitution patterns. This first substitution is simple, is started with B instead of A. I would replace B. Instead of B, I replace it with C, C with D, and so on. Z is replaced with A. In substitution pattern 2, we start from C. In 3, we start with D, E, F, G, H, and so on. And the last row, it starts from A, B, C, D. You know, we have 26 different substitution pattern. At each time, I'm using one of them. For example, at time t, I'm using the tens pattern. Time t plus 1, I'm using the elements pattern. Time t plus 2, I'm using the 12s pattern. After that, the 13s pattern, 14s, 15s, you know, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. At each time, I'm using one of those patterns. One character is replaced with one pattern, and the other character is replaced with another pattern. This strategy is simple, but it's powerful. However, if we use a statistical analysis, we can break these strategies. Let me present an example. For example, someone send me a message. I can replace it with another one. For example, if I use Vigenère square method, uh, each character is replaced with one of those substitution patterns. Okay, but there are some questions. For example, which of them is more stronger? Is the most strongest substitution pattern, monoalphabetic or polyalphabetic? We can say that polyalphabetic methods are more stronger than monoalphabetics. Why? Because uh, if we use monoalphabetics, we can use simple methods to uh, find the patterns, guess the pattern, what is patterns. Okay, but when we are using multiple alphabetic patterns, uh, there is no such evidence for that. Okay. Another strategy for cryptography is use transposition cipher methods. In transposition, we are trying to rearrange the values within a block or within a block to create ciphertext. The best strategy in this case is using XOR function. We know that in XOR, if we uh, input two bits similar together, for example, 2 0 or 2 1s into XOR, we know that the result is 0. But if the two inputs are not identical, for example, one of them is 0, the other is 1, the result would be 1. By knowing this, uh, simple but meaningful uh, functionality, we can use XOR or exclusive OR function. In most of, we can see that XOR or exclusive OR function is used widely in cipher methods because it can work with bits, and it can change the values of bits one bit by one bit. For example, look at this one here. I have a message, something like this, for example, 8-bit message, and I have a cipher key, something like this. If I XOR these values together, I can receive this one here. This is the result. The result, if the main message, the key, and finally the ciphertext. If you compare the ciphertext with the key, and with the message, you cannot find any similarity. Okay? You cannot find similarity between the result, the ciphertext, with the keys or messages. There is no similarity between them. So XOR is one of the most strongest and most uh, favorite methods for encryption. Also, we have another function too, hash function. Hash function is a mathematical algorithm. This function or hash functions can generate some message summaries or digest to confirm the message identity, the message integrity, and confirm that the message bodies does not change, or if it changes, we confirm that we can prove that the text is changed. So to confirm the message identity and confirm that the content has not changed, we can use hash algorithms. Those hash algorithms are public. There are well-known functions. We can use them to create hash functions. Why? Because nobody can dehash the messages. Nobody. We say that the hash functions or hash algorithms are one-way algorithms. You can use them, you can input data into them just to create the hash. You cannot dehash the result to find the basic elements, basic data. You know, you just must work with those. You just receive the output of the hash. You cannot dehash it. Okay, in this case, we are not using the keys. In encryption, we are using some keys to encrypt the data. For example, I must use an alphabetic replacement or substitution pattern, or using a key for X or something like that. But in hash function, I never use keys. We can use the hash functions to create the message authentication code or MAC. We can add the MAC code as a digest to the message for authentication. Or we can use the hash functions for password verification systems. For example, when you log in into Windows, the Windows operating system is using hash functions. For the first time, when you when you create your passwords into Windows, it's create a hash for you. Next time when you enter again to the Windows, again when you enter your password, it creates a new hash. And then the result of the cache would be compared with the results stored in Windows. If they are the same, then Windows would prove that you are an authenticated person. Otherwise, it would block your access. Okay, let me back to the crypto algorithms. The crypto algorithms are categorized into two categories. They are separated into two categories. One of them is symmetric algorithm, the other is asymmetric algorithms. However, in today's systems, we use a combination of those categories at the same time. We are using asymmetric and symmetric algorithms at the same time. Okay. But what is the difference between symmetric algorithm and asymmetric algorithms? The difference between them is about the types of their keys for encryption and decryption. when we say that, okay, my algorithm is a symmetric encryption method. Is that both sides of the connection, both sides are using a shared key, a shared secret key, a same key. Both sides uses a same key, same secret key for encryption and decryption. It means that as a sender, I'm encrypting the method with a key, and the receiver in the other side, the receiver would decrypt the text with a same key, same secret key. This method, this encryption method, is efficient, and it uses a minimum processing power. And both senders and receiver must possess the encryption key. Both sides are using similar keys. But what is the disadvantage of this algorithm, or what is the uh, pros of this method? Uh, the pros is that if one of the senders or receiver, one of them, compromise the key by mistake suddenly, I don't know. If one of them compromise its key, then the intruder or the attacker can decrypt the messages and read them, or even handle them. So the main problem with symmetric encryption methods is key compromising. If the key is revealed, then the attacker, the hacker, the intruder, he or she can decrypt my messages, decrypt the messages and read them. So the sender encrypt the message with a symmetric key. The receiver decrypt the message. This is the plain text, encrypted text, and again plain text. The plain text at the receiver is decrypted by a similar key with the key at the sender. It's similar to the key of the car or key of the home, input door of the home. Okay. One of the most well-known, symmetric algorithms, symmetric encryption algorithms is DES, or data encryption standard. In this algorithm, we are using 64-bit block size. It's a block cipher. The key has 56-bit length, and this algorithm is adopted by NIST in 1976 for as a federal standard for encryption non-classical information. However, this method is break down break after a while, and this happened because the length of this key is short. Look at this one. The length of keys in this is only 56 bit. To resolve this problem, a new case, we call it triple des or 3des, is provided. In triple des, we are using the des algorithm for 3 times with 2 or 3 different keys. With 3 different keys. But we can use triple des with 2 keys too. At the first round, we are using key number 1. At the second round, we are using key number 2. And at the third round, again, we are using key number 1. Okay? So, when we are using triple des, we can use 2 or triple keys like this. Triple des is more stronger than the des. However, when this is break, the NIST try to develop another strategy, another symmetric key strategy, symmetric encryption method. They called it Advanced Encryption Standard, or AES. AES is developed to replace both des and triple des. In this, we are using at least the keys with 128 bits, at least. The key length in AES is 128, 256, 512, 1024, and even 2048 bits. So AES is more stronger than this and its family. The other category was asymmetric encryption. In asymmetric encryption, or sometimes we call it public key encryption. In these types of encryption methods, we are using 2 different keys. One of them is a public key, the other is a private key. When I'm sending, for example, I want to send a message, for example, to Alice. To do this, I'm using the Alice's public key to encrypt my text, my message. So my message is encrypted using Alice's public key and send it through the network into Alice. And then in the other side, the Alice must decrypt the message using her secret key. I'm using the Alice's public key. Alice would decrypt the message using her private key. Alice publishes her public key over the internet. Everybody can see it and use that key to encrypt the message. But Alice never published her private key. It's in her pocket. If you remember, when we are talking about symmetric encryption, we said that revealing the symmetric key is the main problem with symmetric encryption methods. And now We never use symmetric keys, similar keys. I'm encrypting the message using I'm encrypting the message using 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 the public key, and at the other side, the receiver would decrypt the message using his or her private key. Look at this one here. Bob, for example, here. Ninja here, Alex. Alex wants to send a message to Rachel, for example. Here, Alex use the public key of Rachel, this key, to encrypt the message, and Rachel decrypt the message using her own private key. You know, this key is different from this key. They are two separated keys. So in this case, we are not worried about the revealing the keys. Okay, one main point. The size of your encryption key is very important. You know, the encryption algorithm is not important. Why? Because everybody knows about that algorithm. It's something common. It's not something private. The body of those encryption algorithms, those encryption applications, they are not something private. But we know that the strength of those encryption algorithms is measured by the size of their keys. They are not, their strength is not depend on keeping encryption algorithm secrets. Each crypto system securities depends on keeping some or all of element of crypto variables or the keys, secret keys. Look at this one here. The size of this table shows the effect of size of the keys on the time for decrypting the text. For example, if I use a general purpose computer, okay, this my computer is performing 8 million guesses per second. You know, I want to decrypt a text using a brute force attack. In brute force attack, I'm trying to guess the key. Let's suppose that I'm using a PC. It's performing 8 million guesses per second. It's a common computer. You know, if my key has only 8-bit length, the length of my key is 8-bit. With 8-bit, I can prepare 256 with 8-bit, I can prepare 256 different patterns. Okay? It takes less than a second to guess them and break the result, break the code. If the length is 16-bit, I can prepare 65,000 different patterns. Still, less than 1 second, I can break it. If the length is 24 bits, 16 different million patterns. I need 2 seconds to break them and finding the code. If the length is 32, 4 billion patterns, I need 8 minutes, near 9 minutes. I need 9 minutes to break the pattern if my code has 32-bit length, my key. But if my key has 56-bit length, I need 285 years to find the code. For 64-bit length keys, I need 8 billion years. For 128-bit keys, I need lots of time. For 256, for 512-bit length, you know. After the 64-bit length, if my keys have length of 128 or more bits, or more bits. Look at this one here. With a general purpose computer, I cannot, even with 64-bit length, I cannot resolve the problem, decrypting the message. Even if I use 56-bit length, key length, 285 years. So the length of key is very important. You know. Okay. But what is the problem with asymmetric encryption methods? The problem with asymmetric encryption methods is its processing overhead. We know that there is no problem with key revealing, but the asymmetric methods needs too many processing power, which is not good for weak devices. For example, I cannot use these techniques, asymmetric encryption techniques, on, for example, sensors or small devices who are using battery. You know, it's not a good strategy on them. So currently, we are using a combination of symmetric and asymmetric techniques. Based on cryptography algorithms, we are using some other tools. For example, we can use public key infrastructure, an integrated system of softwares, encryption methodologies, protocols, legal agreement, third-party services to enable user to communicate securely. We can use PKI for a secure communication. In this case, in PKI systems, they are using public key crypto systems, including digital certificate and certificate authorities. Digital certificate to prove the identity of systems, and certificate authority to prove the access to different systems. So when we are talking about PKI systems, we can see that PKI systems can present authentication, integrity, privacy, authorization, and non-repudiation. They can present 5 different security elements, security benefits for me. Authentication means that uh, I can use PKI to validate the identity of the parties. Integrity means that uh, no one can alter the messages. If the message changes, I can confirm that change happens. Privacy means encryption. Authorization means that I can check if my method has enough rights to access to some special places or tools. And non-repetition means that nobody can uh, deny his or her identity. You know, customers or partner can later repudiate and no, they cannot say, for example, non-repudiation. For non-repudiation, I can do something. I did something in the past, okay, and now I say, okay, mm, I was not. If I use PKI, I can prove that it was not me, or somebody can prove that it was me because of non-repudiation. Nobody can deny his or her identity. Okay, so digital signature is one of the main elements here. What is digital signature? We know that the encrypted message can be mathematically proven to be authenticate. It's something similar to a manual contract. In manual contract, you must sign the bottom of the contract. Okay, I agree this contract, so I sign it. Digital signature is something like that. To verify the contents of a contract or something, or to verify the contents of a letter, I will sign it with my digital signature. It means that I'm verifying this information, but in electronic format. To do this, we are using asymmetric encryption methods inside the digital signatures. Also, we have digital certificates. What is this? Digital certificates means that we have some electronic documents. In those documents contains some key values and identifying information about the entity that controls the key. Okay, this is my key. But who am I? This is my digital certificate. Check it. In this digital certificate, you can find my keys and my information, my identity information. my digital signature is attached to my digital certificate. So simply, I can, if someone asks me for signature or digital signature or for my digital certificate, I can pass it. Okay, this is my digital certificate or digital my it's my digital signature. We can put it over the web, especially when we are using digital certificate over the websites, over the web for websites. When you are going to some website, uh, you can see your browser alert you, send an alert message to you. Okay, this site has some security issues. We recommend do not follow this website or something like that. How my browser detect this problem, these security problems? Simply, it checks the digital certificate of the owner of that website. It's very simple. For example, here, this certificate is issued for for www.amazon.com. It's issued by Secure Server Certification Authority, and it's valid from, for example, 19 March of 2002 until 20 March of 2003 or something like that. Okay, it's a digital certificate. We can find it over the web, and my browser would find it, would check it, and if it finds an error or mistake or any security problem, it will send an alert message for me. Okay, this site is not safe. In current dates, for digital certificate, we are using X.519 protocol version 3. X.519 version 3 certificate structure. In this structure, you can find version number, certificate serial number, algorithm ID, issuer, date of validation, subject name, uh, some information about the public key issuer, uh, subject unique identifier, some other extension, and certificate signature algorithm and certificate signature. You can find it here. My signature and my algorithm, my signature algorithm. These information are presented in the signatures upon the protocol X.519 version 3. Okay? But as I said, the main problem with asymmetric key algorithms is their processing performance. They need too many. They have too many processing overheads. So, except with digital certificate, we can see that just in a few cases, uh, scientists or um, different experts using asymmetric key encryption methods. Those asymmetric key encryption methods are not widely used in real world because of that processing overhead. Instead of that, we can see in current systems we are using a hybrid systems. Firstly, at the first our communication, at the beginning of our communication, we are using an asymmetric key structure to exchange the keys, the shared key, with the other side. And after that exchanging, both sides have similar key. So they can start to use symmetric encryption methods to continue the rest of their communications. One of the most advanced and most widely used method in this case, as a hybrid method, is Diffie-Hellman key exchange method. It's one of the most common methods, hybrid systems in this case, uh, and it's provide a foundation for subsequent development in public key encryption. Look at this one here. Rachel and Alex. Rachel sends a secret key, secret shared key, to Alex by using asymmetric encryption methods. So this method, this value is sent, for example, from Alex to Rachel or from Rachel to Alex. It does not. There is no difference between them. Okay. For example, here Alex encrypt the keys, the shared key, with the public key of with the Rachel's public key, and Rachel's with can decrypt, can extract the shared key using her own private key. And after that, they can communicate together over a secure channel using this shared key. Okay. Let's pass the encryption methods. We have some other techniques for encryptions. One of them is steganography. Steganography is a process to hide information in different digital file formats, but those file formats must have enough redundancy in their structures. For example, in multimedia files, we know that in multimedia files, we have lots of redundant information. If we remove those information and replacing them with some other information, nobody can detect them. For example, I have a BMP picture format. In BMP, I can create a file with 24-bit depth. Each pixel in BMP file format can have 24-bit length. It means that for each pixel, I can present more than 16 million different colors. But as a human, my eyes cannot detect more than 10 or 20 colors. 16 million colors are prepared by BMP format. But my eyes cannot detect them. Just my eyes can detect 10 or 20 at most, 20 different colors. So we can rob some of those bits. For example, what will happen if I rob 8 bits from those 24 bits? I rob only 8 bits. Nobody can detect it. Why? Because my eyes cannot detect it. I'm robbing 8 bits and I put some information in that 8 bits. Everybody's look at the file and say, okay, it's an image, nothing. Or it's a video or audio file. It's nothing. But we know that there are some secret information inside those digital formats. So the steganography is one of the main and one of the best tools to hide information, to send them over the web, over digital, over cyberspaces. Okay, but what about the protocols for secure communication? Currently, we know that the web protocol, HTTP protocol, is one of the most widely used protocols over the internet and over the networks. But we know that HTTP is not secure. To secure the HTTP, we have to use SSL protocol, Secure Socket Layer Protocol. It's a secure protocol running over TCP on layer 4. SSL is somewhere between layer 4 and layer 5. Your HTTP information must passes through SSL and then passes through TCP. Using this SSL protocol, I can prepare HTTPS protocol. I think in current days, you look at this, you find most of websites with HTTPS protocols at their beginning. It means that your website is the content of your website is encrypted through SSL protocols. Okay, the contents between the server and your computer. In this path, your content is protected, is encrypted with HTTPS using SSL over HTTP. Okay, so you can prepare a secure channel over internet. What about the email? We can use SMIME, PEM, and PGP for securing emails. We know that email protocol SNMP, excuse me, STM, STMP, STMP protocol is a plain text protocol, same as web, same as HTTP. So to secure it, we can use secure multipurpose internet mail exchange, or we can use PEM, privacy enhanced mail, or pretty good privacy, PGP. There are three different strategies to secure the emails. Okay. Another protocol for secure communication is SET. But SET is secure electronic transaction. SET is presented by MasterCard and Visa in 1997 to provide protection from electronic payment frauds. When you are using credit cards, your credit cards is act over the SET protocols. It's a special protocols for encrypting credit card information during the transfer. As a card holder or merchant, you can use SET to provide a secure channel to transfer your information. Okay, so set is another another secure communication protocols in this case. Another protocol is WEP. WEP is used for secure wireless network. WEP and WPA. WEP is wired equivalent privacy. WPA is Wi-Fi protected access. In WEP, we are trying to prepare a platform for authentication and authorization, similar to wired networks. In wired networks, we have a special platform for authentication and authorization and authentication. For authentication and authorization, okay? In wireless networks, especially in Wi-Fi, IEEE 802.11, in Wi-Fi, we are using an equivalent protocol. We call it WEP. It tries to prepare a similar platform for authentication, for authorization. Also, in Wi-Fi, we are using WPA, or protected access, Wi-Fi protected access. However, in next generation of wireless protocols, we can see another protocols too. For example, robust secure network, RSN, AES, counter mode encapsulation, AES, and so on. Even if I use Bluetooth, Bluetooth is a short range wireless network. If you are afraid that your communication be exploited by someone else, you need to add some security controls over your Bluetooth network. You know that the range of communication range of Bluetooth is less than 10 meters. But if you are afraid to exploit your communication, you need to add some some security protocols over your communication. So if I wrap up, I can say that wireless networks are not secure. We must add extra protocols to secure them. Why? Because they are wireless. The problem is with their nature. They are wireless. What about securing TCP/IP protocols? We can use IPsec, IPsec or Internet Protocol Security, or IP security. Is an open source protocol uh, to communicate over IP networks securely. It's a layer 3 protocols. It's a layer 3 protocols. SSL is a layer 4 protocols. WEB and WPA are layer 2 protocols, but IPsec is a secure protocol at layer 3. We can use IPsec to protect data integrity, to data user confidentiality and authenticity at IP packet level at layer 3. That is great. Integrity, confidentiality, and authentication. It can present three main categories in security for me. IPsec combines several different strategies. For example, it uses Diffie-Hellman structure. It uses public key encryption systems. It uses bulk encryption algorithms, different encryption algorithms. It uses digital certificate and so on. And This protocol can be applied in as two different protocols. One of them is application header. The other is encapsulation security payload. But what is the difference between them? Look at this one here. The left side is authentication header protocol, IPsec authentication header protocol, or AH protocol. The right side is encapsulation security protocol, ESP protocol. If you look on the left side, you can see only in the header we add some security parameters. For example, security parameters here and some authentication data. Okay, but in ESP mode, we are presenting different security parameters, more security parameters, more than AH mode. We are presenting security parameters, sequence number, payload data. Even payload data would be encrypted. Padding, pad length, next header, and authentication. So if I'm worried about just authentication or something like that, I can use IPsec AH mode. Okay, it's a light protocol. But if I want to prepare a complete secure channel, I must use IPsec ESP protocols. It encrypts everything. Full length of packet would be encrypted in ESP, but not in AHP. You know, even here we are using padding or pad length fields. Why? Because I'm trying to encrypt the whole message, the whole packet completely as a block. I'm encrypting the whole packets. So sometimes we need to pad the packet, adding some information to packet to make its size correct. For example, my packet is small. I have to pad some information to the packet to complete the block, to make the block full. Okay. Another communication protocol, secure communication protocol, is PGP. In just a few slides ago, I said that if you are looking for secure email transferring, I can use PGP. PGP is a hybrid crypto system designed in 1991 by Phil Zimmerman. Not only for emails, I can use PGP for securing the whole TCP/IP traffics. It uses cryptographic algorithms, and also it's an open source standard. It can present encryption, authentication, everything for emails, for FTP, and other TCP/IP services. You know, the cost for using PGP is very low. It's a low cost commercial. It has some low cost commercial version applying in most of current platforms. PGP present different solutions. It present authentication using digital signature. It present message encryption, compression, email compatibility, segmentation, and key management. So it's a simple, but simple. It's a low-cost protocol, but a powerful protocol. Look at this one here. For encryption, if we are using public encryption in PGP, it uses RSA with SHA-1 or DSS with SHA-1 as for digital signature. For conventional encryption, it supports triple-less RSA, IDEA, and or CAS for message encryption. And for compression, it can use file management structure to zip the files. Okay. By the way, today we learn about encryption systems, and we learn that if I use a strong key in my encryption and in my cryptography systems, my cipher crypto systems, I can make it secure without any. I'm worried about the results, but why? Because if I use strong keys, nobody can decrypt it. Nobody can break it. Instead of that, mostly attackers try to gain access to the sender or receiver. They attempt to gain unauthorized access to secure communication. If they access to secure communication, they can catch, they can sniff the those encrypted message over the web. They can catch it, sniff it, and then they can try to break it, you know. But instead of that, what will happen if I gain access to the sender or the receiver? What will happen? In the simplest format, the attackers try to uh, use different plain attacks, different non-plain attacks, plain text attacks on the web, sniffing the data and trying to break the messages, the encrypted messages, you know. But that is surprising that in most of cases, when we check for unauthorized access to systems, to the communication platforms, that is surprising that who are the attackers? Here you can see a Katie. A Katie is an attacker to my system? Yes. Childs, children, youth. In current days, most of the attackers are young people. They don't know what they are do. But they do something that compromise my communication systems. Great. Young people, are curious. They want to test everything. If you remember in the past chapters, I said that, okay, if you use the best security tools in your company, still 50% of the security is related to the people who are communicating with your systems. 50%. The other 50% is related to the um, security tools. We have several security tools, but 50% of the problem is related to the people who are communicating, who access to my systems, who access to uh, those platforms, hardware or software. Okay, so we are often surprised at who the attackers are. But one of the best strategy against encryption is using man-in-the-middle attack. What is this? In this case, the intruder, the attacker, places between the sender and receiver. For example, I'm starting to talk with Alice. Okay, the intruder sits between us. When I send the first message to Alice, "Hi Alice, how are you?" Instead of Alice, the Trudy answer me. So I'm establishing a secure connection with Trudy, not with Alice. And then Trudy will create a secure connection with Alice. The Trudy fits herself as me. She sends my message to Alice. And Alice thinks that, okay, this is Bob. Bob sends a message to me. So Alice starts a secure communication with Trudy. So the total communication is protected by secure channels, but the Trudy is placed here at the middle of this communication. I'm sending my information securely to Trudy. So Trudy can extract my message. He or she can handle it or create a backup from my message and then send my message or send my altered message to Alice over a secure connection. That is great. The Trudy is using strong encryption techniques, but at the same time, it can read my confidential information, my confidential data. When you are using proxy or when you are using VPNs over internet, if you set a proxy in your computer, it means that you accept a man-in-the-middle attack on your communication. Yes, you accept man-in-the-middle attack on your communication. How can I prevent this attack? To prevent this one, the best way, and the only way, is using digital signature. Before starting to talk with Alice, I should check, "Hi Alice, how are you? May I have your digital signature? At the starting point, I asked Alice to send her digital signature to me. I know that the digital signature and digital certificate of Alice is over the web, so I can check it. I can check it, and I can find the Alice's keys in that digital certificate, in that digital signature. So I can check it. If Trudy tried to sit in a state of Alice, the Trudy cannot replicate the digital signature of Alice because she does not the private key of the Alice's private key. So to remove the to remove man in the middle attack, the best strategy is using digital signatures. Okay. Another attack on crypto systems is correlation attacks. Correlation attacks means that by statistical analysis, we can find some correlation and some relationships between uh, the alphabetics, between the words in a text. You know, we can find some statistical relationships. For example, THE in English, we know that THE or the is used multiple times in the text. Or for example, when I'm talking with someone else, always I'm using I or I am. You know, you. I'm talking with someone else. I always use I am, you are. So statistically, there are strong relation between the words. So this is relationship so if I analyze differentially or linearly, I can find those relation in weak encryption systems. If I found those relationships, I can mount a successful attack. So to defend against these types of attacks, I need to use stronger crypto systems. I need to use key management systems and using best practice over internet especially when I'm changing the keys between the sender and receiver. It's very important. If someone reveals my the keys, so the Trudy can decrypt the whole um, communication. Another attack is timing attack. In timing attack, the attacker eavesdrops during the victim session. Okay, why? During this session, it tries to capture the data and statistically analyze those data to find some special patterns, to find some sensitive, to find the time that some sensitive information are passed over that session, especially at the first of a session. If the attacker gained information about the encryption keys or gained some information about the crypto systems which is used in that communication, those information can be useful for attacking to that session. Once the encryption is successfully broken, the attacker may launch a reply attack. In reply attack or replay attack, the attacker tries to resubmit the recorded information. It records some information, and next time after the session, it tries to replay, to resend those recorded information to the receiver. Why? Maybe suddenly the receiver accepts the communication and authenticate me. I'm a Trudy. I'm the attacker. I'm resending the capture information. I found that these information are repeated at the first of communication. Okay, I resend. I captured them, and after the session, I resend those information to the receiver. And by a chance, maybe the receiver accepted and authenticate me as the main sender. I'm the attacker, but the receiver authenticate me as the original server. So timing attacks is one of the most dangerous attacks. How can I defend against them? No matter how sophisticated encryptions and crypto systems have become, if key is discovered, everything is finished. If key is discovered. Sophistication of encryption and crypto system is not important. So we said that if you go through programming languages, you can find easily, you can find those encryption algorithms easily. For example, in .NET platform, you can find DES or AES or something like that. Simply, you can use them in your systems. Those encryption systems, encryption algorithms are not important. Your key is important. If your key is discovered, your message would be determined, would be decrypted, and the Trudy can see them such a plain text. Okay. So we said that key management is not so much management of technology. It's not so much management of technology. It's not hard, but rather management of people. Instead of managing people, works on managing the keys. Why? If the keys is discovered, the message will be determined. Forget the people. Focus on managing the keys. It does not mean that you forget the people forever. No. I don't say this. Okay? It means that put more efforts on key management. Because if you lost the keys, you lost your secure channel. Okay, this is the last slide of chapter 8. And as a last word, you can hide information in plain sight using simple but effective methods. That is great. You can hide your information in plain sight using simple but effective method. So always use effective methods for security, for hiding your uh, personal information effectively. Okay, it was the last slide. Is there any question? Any question? Okay, I wish the best for you.